All right, what's up, guys? We're back with another podcast episode. I know I shouldn't say it. Don't do it. I promised myself I wouldn't say it, and as I did this intro, my brain said, you're going to say it. It's going to be a short pod this week.
And because you have now said those words, our California audience and our East Coast audience all thank you, because now it's going to be 3 hours long. I'm just kidding.
I was writing this whole morning trying to find all the topics to talk about, and man, it just felt like there was not a lot. Even put out some questions and answers. So maybe that's what, because I'll pull up the Instagram after this and see if we missed any, because there'll probably be more by the time we finish. But yeah, they're just like, was not a lot. We got some paddles to talk about. There's a new paddle that's dual certified. It's not a new paddle, but new to being dual certified. Isaac had some bag updates he wanted to talk about. And then the main paddles we're going to be talking about this week are the RPM paddles. Finally got those. And then the new Proton Peacock. And then we're also going to try and add a new segment to the podcast, kind of like a monthly paddle roundup. Like, one thing I've been thinking about recently is that, like, so many paddles are constantly coming out, and they're all, for the most part, good. Like, it's pretty hard that it's for someone to make a bad paddle. There might be bad value, but I just think with so many coming out, it'd be nice if you guys kind of had like one pod a month that was like, here's what we're recommending to friends. And I think that is like one thing that's really important, is like, hey, you know, what are the paddles we tell people, like, hey, you should go buy this, like our own friends that come and ask us, or just what we think is good right now, what people should consider. Then you can go watch some full reviews for more information. It's not going to be an in-depth breakdown of the paddle, but just, hey, here's what we think is good. This first one this month was a little rushed, I'm being honest. We'll probably clean this segment up a little bit in the future, make it a little more organized, but yeah, we'll get there. Some questions in the kitchen, and then talk a little bit about some duper stuff and our trip to Lakeland. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see how long this pod's going to be.
Look, it doesn't need to have a lot of...
I made it longer just by saying it's going to be short.
It doesn't need to have a lot of topics. We're just going to spend 25 minutes on every topic.
If we manage to do that, that's crazy.
That would be kind of crazy.
All right, let's get into it.
Let's do it.
Okay, first paddle that got dual certified. Didn't see this one coming. The Gearbox Power Series is now dual certified. So you can now play it at UPA pro events, qualifiers, PPA, and then everywhere else it was already fine for amateurs. The only thing to note is that looking at the amateur list, I believe you're only allowed, the UPA A list, I believe you're only allowed to play it with a blacked out version.
So they didn't pay the graphics fee.
Or marketing fee, whatever the heck it is. Yeah, because there's like a little black thing on the side, and usually that marks that you have to use a blacked out version. So that means that I don't think you could go to a qualifier with the one with, the normal one we have sitting on the wall right now. You'd have to somehow obtain a blacked out version. I don't know if Gearbox is selling those to people who ask. I don't know how that works. I just saw that it was dual certified and then saw that it needed a blacked out version. I will say...
they don't have any signed pros right now.
No.
Right?
But maybe they're considering it now, or maybe they want to get back in. I don't know. We'll see. But I will say I'm a little surprised with the ABI testing that the GX2 Power passes, because at least for ours, and maybe things have tightened up a little bit, I don't know. But ours, I mean, I feel like once it broke in, I stopped liking the paddle. I really loved it when it was brand new. To me, it was like, took elements of a Pro 4, upgraded it, thought it was really nice. And then, with Gearbox, like, build, thought that was sweet. But then as it broke in, I was just like, this is too much. Like, I can't play with this anymore. It's getting harder to feel the ball. It didn't have like as crisp of a feel when it was new. So that kind of killed it for me. So I'm a little surprised it passes ABI testing, but
interesting.
It passes. So yeah, if that's relevant to anyone who plays qualifiers, that's potentially an option for you now.
I guess you'd have to just reach out and see if you can get a blacked out version, because I imagine they're probably not just selling a fully blacked out one. Right?
I can't imagine they are.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll pay the marketing fee at some point. I don't know. But we'll see. Just thought that was interesting.
Maybe it got dual certified now, but they're just they don't want to pay because they won't prorate the fee. So maybe they'll do it.
Oh, do it in 2026 because we're almost to the end of the year.
That would make the most sense.
Okay, we'll see. All right, you have a bag update.
Okay, so I have been going back and forth using the Neonic bag as of recent. My main bag has always been the now forward court caddy. I've used that for well over a year, traveled with it a ton. I've been messing around with other bags. I use the Neonic bag, and I would say going back and forth between that and the Forward Ranger bag, I prefer the Ranger bag.
Okay.
You have been flopping back and forth with a bunch of different bags. You did travel to Worlds with the Neonic bag.
Mm-hmm.
His last tournament to Lakeland, you traveled with the Ranger bag.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have an opinion on those two?
I probably need to use the Neonic a little bit more. I think really what it is it's almost, I almost want to say that the bags are not targeted at two different people, but it depends on what you are packing in your bag. Because I think what the Neonic does a lot better than the Ranger, and this is something, the Ranger's like been my main bag for a while. It's what I've been taking to tournaments, and it's been great, and I use it for when I'm going to the courts here, unless I need to bring a ton of paddles. Then I've been using that big Franklin bag. But I love that the Neonic has so many small pockets. You want to put electrolytes in there, like a spare pair of contacts. Like, it's very easy to organize things, where sometimes the Ranger, I want to say it only really has like two main pocket type areas in the bag where I can kind of organize things. So I'll have like one that's kind of for snacks, and then one that's just like overgrips and extra little things. So sometimes I'm like, oh man, I just wish I had like two more pockets just to put some extra stuff. So I think the Neonic hands down wins in terms of pockets, but I think when I actually use the bag, the Ranger feels better for me getting things out of it quickly.
Yep.
Like when I'm at a tournament, I love the little paddle sleeve. I think it's very fast. Even getting to the bottom of the bag, I think it's great. I love the phone pocket on the back of the Ranger. I think it's very good. It's very quick to get things in and out of. It fits all my stuff, keys, wallet, AirPods, phone. No issue there. So, but then, you also think the Neonic is like, what would that be? I think when there's no sale going, it might be like about $85 cheaper. So I don't know. The Neonic can definitely hold more, has that really nice shoe compartment that I think is pretty clever. The bag can expand. I just think there are aspects of it that if you're really going to load it, it starts to feel a little cluttered or maybe like tight and hard to kind of like get things in and out of.
So that's my thing with it, is it's like, it technically, yes, has the capability to hold more and it has more organization, more pockets, but it's almost deceiving because it has it there, but you can't really use all of it, like we discussed on a previous podcast. So I just feel like I'd rather just take that and simplify it even more. I'm not a huge fan of how it opens and how it fully clamshell opens, and it just gets awkward trying to open those zippers all the way. So I like just how simple the Ranger bag is. Mm-hmm. When I need to organize small stuff, I actually just prefer carrying a separate organization pouch, kind of like your tech pouch with all the cables and stuff. I would rather just have that instead of trying to fiddle with little pockets inside of a bag. If I need a small thing, overgrips, scissors, weighted tape, whatever, I can just grab the pouch, take whatever I need, and just throw it in the bag. I like how simple the bag is. And then the water bottle holder on the side of the Ranger, I really like the design of it because it opens up and expands quite a bit, but when you don't want it to, you can just it has a zipper on it to fully suck it into the side of the bag when you're not using it. So it's very sleek. So I actually like that quite a bit. So overall, I think I prefer, especially locally, traveling around with the Ranger bag. I like it just a bit more. So that was just a random little bag update I had on what I've been preferring, that now that I've like been going back and forth between the two, using them a bunch.
Yeah. Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I think that would be my recommendation, would be the Ranger.
Sure. Yeah. I think the thing that's like really fascinating about bags is it just so much of it comes down to like, even when I think about bags for myself, I'm like, man, I really just need like different bags for different days. Like,
100%.
It's like one of those things where you there's no one bag that can kind of do everything. It's like one bag would be really nice to just go to the courts quick. One bag for tournaments, one bag for travel. Like, it's just like, it's
kind of funny because that's how I have it set up at home. I have all my different pickleball bags lined up against the wall. And it's like, all right, what do I need today? Just walk up to the wall and grab the one I need.
Yeah.
So yeah, I definitely feel that.
Yeah, because I feel like the Neonic is probably, I would say in that price range, it's probably the best value of a bag.
That
you
I would
can
agree
buy.
with. Yes. If you're very budget conscious and you're just looking to get a pretty quality bag on a budget, the Neonic definitely wins out.
Like, I don't think there's anything in that price range that beats it.
Yeah. But if you have a little bit of extra room in your budget and you don't need to carry a ton of stuff and you just play at the park, play at, a facility locally, I would pick the Ranger over the Neonic bag.
Sure. Yeah, I got to use it a little bit more. I do agree with you on how the kind of that clamshell design. I think just, it just, I don't know, it just doesn't really work
awkward
for me.
It's just a little awkward, I feel like. And it's so small, but because I use it so much, it matters so much to me. The placement of that little, like
phone pocket. Yeah.
Is just so much better on the Ranger.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, it's such a small thing, but because of how often I use it, it matters so much to me.
Yeah.
So it's like one of those, you don't realize how valuable it is until you don't have it kind of a thing.
Yeah.
And then once I use the Neonic and I realized, you have it, but it's just different.
Yeah.
That I was like, I'm missing out.
Yeah.
I'm missing out big time on this, man.
Yeah.
So yeah, I like that quite a bit.
For sure. Cool. All right. Moving on. Looks like you have some other thing here.
I have one other thing to say. I've been seeing a bunch of, comments, people wondering why have I been drinking this monster right here? And what happened to Ghost? We're not sponsored by Ghost. We were never sponsored by Ghost. I still drink Ghost and I still love Ghost. Okay. We're not going away from that, but there's a little story behind this flavor of Monster. Buddy of mine who were both equally addicted to energy drinks love this particular flavor of Monster. They don't make it anymore. They stopped manufacturing it. You can't get it anywhere. It's extremely rare. So anytime we find a few cans at a gas station or something, which does not happen often, we buy them all. We were out to dinner as a group one time, and the restaurant was right next to a Dollar Tree. And your wife was like, hey, we should just go walk around, see what's in the Dollar Tree. So we started roaming around. I looked down on a shelf and see cases of this exact flavor. I called my buddy and was like, we need to buy every single one. So the next day we walked in and bought every case they had. And then they got another shipment of them. Who knows how? Because I know for a fact they don't make this anymore. And we bought them all again. So I just have a huge stock of these. I've been drinking them. And I ran out of my stock of Ghost that they sent me a little while back. So Ghost, if you're hearing this, send me a few more and I'll still drink. I will still gladly drink Ghost. I love Ghost, but at the moment, this is just what I have. So I had to clear up a few of the questions. I'd been seeing some comments about it.
Clear the air.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, cool. Well, that's kind of the updates we had. Like I said, there's not a ton there. We'll just, Isaac just about knocked over that monster all over this table. Whew. Okay. All right, let's talk paddles. So I had heard just rumors kind of floating around after with the Waves that people had warrantied ones that they felt were kind of had the same experience I did. It was like very dead. They just didn't feel like it was very good. And then people said they got a new one and they're like, dude, it's like not even the same paddle. It's way better. It doesn't have the dead spots. Like everything about this paddle is better. And so then it kind of started floating around like, was something wrong with the first ones? What happened? And I'm always like a little on the fence when I hear certain things online, right? Like I always just kind of think like, was it just in people's head? And now that they got a new one, they just feel better about it. And so I like kind of wrote it off, but I was like, we'll keep it in the back of the head just in case. We'll see. And so someone came up to me at the Lakeland PPA and was like, hey, I know you hated the Waves. I can't remember if this guy told me he had warrantied his, but he was basically like, look, you just need to hit mine. I believe it was a carbon 4. And I was like, sure, I'll hit it. I was like, I've kind of heard about this. Let me just see. And so I only hit like 15 balls with it. It was like before a match, so I didn't have a lot of time. But I'm hitting it. I'm going, this is definitely different than what we had. I mean, I did not notice the dead spots that I had been talking about. And those were very obvious every time I picked that paddle up. So I was like, okay, well, sweet spot definitely feels better on this. The feel was a little bit different. It was almost kind of felt like more cushioned. I don't really know how to describe it, but from how I remembered the Waves, like it just felt like a different paddle.
Yeah.
And, who knows how long this guy's been using it. He did say he weighted up a little bit. I want to say he did like maybe a couple 3-gram pods, but I tried tons of weight setups. I tried 10 grams, 15 grams, 5 grams, like 3 grams, just all in all different locations. Nothing saved this paddle. And so the fact that he had less weight and it felt better than how I remember any of ours feeling, made me more curious. Was it enough to say, oh, this is a contender to be top paddle? Probably not really enough to know from 15 balls, but enough that I was like, I'm curious what changed. So I might see if I can get my hands on some more of them and just see if this is a thing now. Because, if there was just a dud of a batch, like I'd go back and look at the paddle and see if something changed, right?
Right.
But then my question would also be, what the heck happened to make it a dud?
Dude, who knows?
So, yeah, I'm just very curious. I'm very, very
I
curious.
do find that kind of odd that there can be such a variance from unit to unit. And now maybe it was just an initial batch issue and things are different now, or maybe it is batch to batch. Could be a good one, could be a bad one. Who knows?
Yeah.
But I do find that very odd. I talked to the guy, but I never got to hit that one. So
I would have been curious to see what you would have thought, since you didn't really have a problem with the last waves anyways.
Yeah, right.
So, yeah, I there was a couple other people I saw with him and I really wanted to ask. Like, there was a guy, I played him, and he was using a waves, and after we beat him, I wanted to ask if I could just hit him for a minute, but it's kind of awkward. Like, you just knocked a guy out of a tournament. Like, probably the last time you should be asking.
Hey, I know I just beat you, but can I take your paddle for a second and test it?
Yeah. So I was like, I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
So anyways, just a little thought on the waves there. Keep you posted if I get the chance to do more with it. All right, next up. A lot of you have been curious about these. Got the RPM paddles. Let's see if these stand. These
things,
stand.
junk. They struggle to stand. You can kind of get it too, but
we only need 2 of them. You know what? Screw it. I'm not even going to try. The wide body can stand.
Get this thing out of here.
So RPM paddles, as most of you probably know by now, this is James Ignatowicz's paddle company. It's been out for a little bit now. They kept selling out. I believe their stock is pretty decent now. We're just going to go over some initial stuff, like specs, and then we'll kind of talk about how it played, because we play tested them this morning. So price, $250. With discount code PB Studio, I believe it actually shaves off 15%, so that price drops to about $212. And then there are currently 3 paddles. There's a 16 millimeter elongated, and the specs of that are 116 swing weight, which is pretty low for an elongated, and then 6 twist weight. There's a 14 millimeter elongated, 115 swing weight. Actually, now that I'm looking at that, it's pretty interesting that that's barely lower than the 16. And then,
you sure it was 115? I thought it was 114.
Or
did you round up?
I round up because of the third.
Yeah, that's right.
It was literally just under 115, so
that's
I just
right.
rounded up.
That's right.
It was like 114.9.
Yeah.
So 115 swing weight, twist weight 5.87, and then the wide body 16 millimeter. I don't believe they have an approved 14 millimeter wide body right now, or if it is, it just got approved. Swing weight 110 and a twist weight of 6.96. And to my knowledge, these are basically just the Yola shapes. And they are now, the warranty did change. It's now 1 year and you get 2 replacements. Prior, I want to say it was 6 months, 1 replacement, I think. So nice that they doubled that, because I do think that makes it more competitive with a Yola now. If you can get it for, what would that be? Probably after tax, either almost 80 to $90 cheaper, and then a pretty similar warranty. So I think that's kind of a nicer selling point than what it used to be.
Yeah.
So, okay, let's talk about these. At this point, it's pretty clear that these were probably meant to be a Yola as much as they could possibly be a Yola. It's a Gen 3
every way possible.
It's a Pro 4. They made a Pro 4 that is a little bit different. It's not exactly a Pro 4, but you can tell they're going after a Pro 4.
Yeah.
I believe there are X-rays floating around online. I don't have any, but very similarly built to a Pro 4.
Yep.
Right? People see this success with Yola and they're like, let's just mirror that. Right? James came off of Selkirk.
Not the only company to do it.
Yeah, not the only company to do it. They made a good paddle, so everyone wants to mimic some success with that. And, clearly James liked it and made his own version of it. So we played them this morning. I'll go over my thoughts first, and then we can kind of jump into yours.
Yeah.
So I don't really know what expectation I had. I don't think I really had any expectation going in other than, okay, I know it's a Gen 3 style build. It's built like a Pro 4. What's the difference going to be between this and a Pro 4 is, I think, the main expectation I had going in. So we brought some Pro 4s. I brought a Scorpio 16 millimeter and then a Perseus 14 millimeter because I had cut up the 16 millimeter, so didn't have that to compare.
Yep.
Probably could have brought a Hyperion, I suppose. But playing them, to me, the biggest difference that I noticed was that the Yola offers more feedback, it's stiffer, and the ball, like in hands, comes off like more immediate. It's like faster when you go
more
for...
responsive.
Yeah, that'd be a good way to say it. Beyond that, like, I didn't notice a big difference in sweet spot. I didn't notice a big difference in maneuverability. To me, it really just kind of comes down to how they feel at ball contact. And now I'm sure the more you use these, right, it's a Gen 3, it's going to break in a little bit, and they're going to probably heat up a little bit. But it was just like a little more plush, not a lot, just like a little bit more cushioned, not as stiff. And like kind of that's like what it came down to. Obviously, this is only session 1, right? Like, this is an initial impression. This is not a review. But I would say it's like as close as you're going to get to a Pro 4 if you just modified the feel a little bit. Like that's kind of where I sat with it. So that's all to say it's good, but it's not revolutionary. Like, to me, the biggest reason you'd want to consider this is if you're like, you know what? I like the Yola. I'm maybe not like married to this exact feel, and I would like to get them cheaper and possibly warranted quicker when they break. Because everyone hears the stories with Yola customer service is usually pretty slow. That's kind of what it comes down to me.
Yeah, seems accurate. Or if you're just a fan of James,
sure,
and you just want this paddle, that'd be the only other reason I could think of. My thing with it is, so I hit all of them. I even spent a little time on the wide body. I feel like they're definitely, I agree with everything you said. I think they're definitely a little bit more plush, a little less stiff than the Yola. Not quite as responsive. Still powerful paddles. I still felt like I could.
Oh, yeah, definitely it's still a power paddle.
Yeah, for sure a power paddle. But definitely lacking in stability. Like less, it's definitely a less stable paddle than the Yolas.
Okay.
Which makes sense based on these stats. They're, I believe, lower in weight, lower in swing weight. I'd have to look at twist weight numbers. I got to imagine it's at least pretty close. But it just seemed like playing with it, it was definitely a bit less stable than the Yolas. And even remembering how, like, I used to play with the Hyperion a lot, it just feels less stable overall. But add weight to it, it's fine. There's a lot of room with these paddles. I mean, a 16 elongated at 116 swing weight is pretty
easy
low.
To beef it up with
pretty
weight.
Low. The only thing I noticed that I wasn't a huge fan of feel-wise was I did notice a bit more flex in the face with the RPM than the Yola. I mean, I feel like that makes sense with it not being quite as stiff. So that's just going to be a preference thing. But that was something I wasn't a huge fan of. But yeah, otherwise, literally everything about this is just trying to be a 3S or a Pro 4, either one. Like the design of it, the shapes.
Yeah, I mean, the design
even
is...
the butt cap has the exact same notch, like engraved design on the bottom. Instead of a Yola logo, it's the RPM logo. I mean, this is exactly the same.
Yeah.
So... I mean, try to make it a clone of a Yola without trying to make a clone of a Yola. It's just ridiculous.
Wait, hang on. Where do I have a... Hang on. I'll go get it from the wall.
Yeah. What's he grabbing? Oh, he's just grabbing a Gen 3.
This is a 3S.
That is a 3S?
Yeah.
That's right. The blacked out one is a... Yeah.
All the Gen 3s are in the garage.
I mean
look at those designs.
Guys, what are we doing here? This logo's in the same spot, except this blacked out on the... I mean, it's exactly the same.
It's like flipped.
The angle, mirrored. The name of the paddle is... It's just mirrored. I mean, what are we doing here? Look, again, the bottom. It has the exact same grooved look. This is ridiculous. So, I mean... I would have much preferred, I know, a lot of people don't care and they get annoyed about me talking about designs of paddles, but try and do something a little different.
I mean, this is one of those ones where it's like, what's that meme that's like, hey, bro, you can copy my homework, just don't make it obvious.
Yeah.
And they were like, well, okay, we won't do the gradient.
Yeah, at least that I appreciate. Sure. I appreciate there not being a gradient, but like, I don't know. Could you have made it any more obvious?
Yeah,
Maybe
right.
James just doesn't care. And here, hold on. I got another little gripe / beef with James. Mr. Wide body is definitely the best paddle and everyone should be using wide bodies. And then he makes his own paddle. What's he using? Not the wide body. I demand that James takes down that tweet. Okay. Somebody clip this and tag James.
That's
Remove
true.
that tweet.
I suppose he did say
Until
that.
he starts playing PPAs with wide bodies, he needs to get rid of that tweet.
That's
But
hilarious.
I mean, yeah, they play well, which
they are a good paddle.
There was no doubt in my mind that it was going to be a well-performing paddle. My biggest issue with it is going to be what is its lifespan of durability. I've heard recently, having traveled to so many PPAs, met a lot of people who use them, pros and amateurs, who all say they have broken very quickly. Some people within a week. So,
but I feel like that's like the tough part with that. Like obviously there has been variance, like, you know, some Gen 3s have lasted, but I just feel like at this point, if you buy a Gen 3, you know what you're signing up for.
You know it's breaking, but that seems like when the 3S and Gen 3
people
came
have
out,
been
where it's
saying
like,
it about the Pro 4. Like there are people in my Discord that are like, yeah, I broke it in a week.
I feel like it's less though.
I mean, I do think it's less than what it used to be, but my point is that I think you're always going to find someone who's like, yeah, I broke it in a week, I broke it in 2 weeks. Like it all just depends on the level of hitting, right?
Yeah.
If you give Hunter Johnson any Gen 3, I guarantee that thing's cooked in under 2 weeks.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It just, I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of Gen 3 paddles just because of the durability factor. But at this point, it's like, okay, yes, it's cheaper than a Yola, but why not just buy a Canon, a Luz Canon?
Well, that I think is probably where the sell gets tough, right? The Canon, I think, for a lot of Gen 3s throws a little bit of a wrench in things. The only saving grace for other companies, and that is the Canon only comes in one shape, one thickness. So if you are not married, or if you don't love that shape, you know, you're kind of out of luck.
Yeah.
But I do think with something like a Canon existing, okay, again, it's probably going to feel a little bit different. But for $100, half the price, a third of the price of the
Close
Yola,
enough.
you know,
Or, you know, could fit your preference more.
yeah, or maybe you like it more. But I can see a reason why someone would buy this, why they'd buy the Yola, why they'd buy the Canon. I think it all just depends on like the side of how married are you to a shape? Are you on a budget? And are you really looking for a specific feel, right?
Yeah.
I'm sure there are people who like Gen 3s and have hit the Canon and are like, it's not for me. But that doesn't mean it's not a great paddle.
For sure. Yeah. I think that, like I said, performance is definitely there. And what I'll say is like, okay, sweet spot wise, felt pretty good. I think it, again, less stable. This is all without weight. So I imagine I could easily fix that with weight and that wouldn't be an issue anymore. Sweet spot felt good. I feel like I was able to shape the ball okay. It didn't blow me out of the water, but it wasn't underwhelming either, which is, I think,
it's like
totally
everything.
fine. It's like every other paddle on the market right now. So I think it's funny that its name is Friction Pro though. And it's like, I don't know.
Same,
It's okay.
probably same as everyone else.
Yeah. So I don't know. I just view it as a complete and utter clone of the 3S / Pro 4.
So, okay, with you've got, man, I feel like it really just comes down to small things in feel, but you've got the Canon, you've got the Thrive Fury, you've got RPM, and you've got Yola, and there's like I'm almost definitely missing one other Gen 3 that I should probably really clump in here, but
You said Fury, right?
Yep. Let's just take those 4.
Era.
Sure, Era if you want it. Yeah, sure. Yeah, I mean, yeah, toss the Era in there. How would you either rank them, or how would you like recommend for who?
I'd need to hit them all side by side to really be able to rank them, since today I only hit the Yola and the RPM side by side. But I'd say Luz Canon would be at the top of my list for recommendation. Just
Based on what?
based on performance to cost ratio.
Yeah, I mean, Canon has all of those beat in that way for sure.
It's at the very top of that. If you're someone who is wanting to try a Gen 3, fine with it breaking quickly, like understanding that Gen 3s just break. there's no reason why you should buy any of these other ones and not a Canon first. Because if you just want to try a Gen 3 paddle, and then maybe after you hit the Canon, maybe there's a few small things about it you do like, maybe you don't like, and some of these other paddles can fill that gap. But I think this, as a starting point, it's like how everyone's recommending the Quanta if you want a foam paddle or a V-Sole, you know? That's how I
like super easy to start.
Just the best place to start, because it's in this, like for how the market is right now, it's so cheap compared to everything else.
Yeah.
And then based on everything else, how these play, the Yola and the RPM have to be like neck and neck. There's barely any distinguish. I feel like I need more time on the RPM with weight on it to really be able to give it a fair comparison on which one I would put ahead.
Or like which one you would take.
Which one I would take. If I'm just not caring at all about durability and just throwing that out of the equation, I would personally maybe lean towards the RPM, just because I typically do lean towards more plush feeling paddles.
Yeah.
But as of recent, it's been starting to trend the other way. So I feel like I could flip-flop both sides.
Both sides.
It really comes down to budget, and do you want something slightly stiffer or slightly softer? And if you want to go all the way to the other end on stiffness, then you go to the Fury.
Yeah.
Like you want
Fury is definitely the stiffest.
Max aggression, max feedback, and stiffness. That's the Fury. And then the opposite end of the spectrum is the Canon. And then the RPM comes right after the Canon.
And then
on
the
plushness. And then Yola. So it's like Yola and RPM are right in the middle. And then Fury and Canon are on the ends of the spectrum.
I would have agreed completely, yeah.
And so that's where I would put everything. So that would be my recommendation / my grading.
Yeah, I think I pretty much, I think I agree with literally everything you said. I think it's one of those ones where anyone could pick up any of these paddles, and objectively they're all good. But I think if you gave someone the choice of all four and you let them hit them all, they will have a preference one way or another with any of the four. They'll say, you know what, like this one I could probably just like reset a little bit better with. Even if like objectively performance-wise, sweet spot, feel like it's all kind of close.
I like counters a little bit more with this one, all kinds of different things.
All comes down to like the small things you value, and if you put a big weight
and maybe
on
if
price.
You're somebody who, you know, has a little bit weaker wrist and you don't like heavy paddles, well, the Pro 4s do come a bit heavier. So then maybe you'd lead towards the RPM, because these do, based on the units we have, are a bit lighter. So maybe that just little bit of difference matters.
Yeah.
So it's such minute small things. With all Gen 3 paddles, it's really hard to be different.
Yeah.
You know? So especially with the Yola and RPM, because they're identical shapes. Everything, I could harp on about that forever.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think my thought is it's probably what you'd expect if you just told someone like, yeah, okay, imagine a Pro 4, but not built, like it's built very similarly, but maybe not with the literal same exact materials. Maybe a foam is different. Maybe it's a slightly different carbon fiber. Yeah, you get a slightly different end result, but largely you are in the same family of a style of paddle.
For sure.
So I think it's good. I don't have any qualms with it. I could probably even recommend it to some people. Like if someone told me like, yeah, I want to be pretty close to the Yola, but I just don't got the Yola budget, then yeah, I'd say, okay, well, sure, go try an RPM. Like I wouldn't not recommend an RPM.
Yeah.
Like I think there are people who it would fit, but it wasn't.
The only thing for again, very, very, very small group of people is the ones that you can buy off the shelf are not UPA approved at the moment. The paddle itself is UPA approved, but you
the blackout.
You need to have a blacked out version. So like I couldn't take this and play the Daytona qualifier with it.
Yeah.
Someone did in Vegas, and they let them in the qualifier, but they made the main draw, and then they couldn't use it. They had to go use a Yola because they had a one with graphics on it.
Sure.
So, but again, that's going to affect like basically no one for one more tournament.
Yeah, totally.
So
yeah, I mean, another solid Gen 3, just, I don't know. Yeah.
It just doesn't really feel new.
Yeah.
It just feels like
very familiar.
Exactly, familiar. It's yeah, losing my thoughts here, but it's
All right. Moving on to the next one.
okay.
We got the Proton Peacock. So we had gotten a lot of questions about this last week, and all of a sudden I was like, what? Like, everyone's like asking me about this paddle. I was like, I haven't even heard anything about this paddle. So I just started like looking it up online, and I was like, oh, hey, Dick's is selling the paddle. I'll just go buy it. So I bought this paddle myself. I also bought the RPMs myself. And yeah, we got it and play tested it this morning. So I don't really have a lot of information on it. I texted John, and then Braden, I guess, had an X-ray because I was just like, what is the build of this? Like hitting it, obviously I knew it was foam. I knew it was probably an EPP, EVA floating ring core. That's kind of where everyone's going right now, which is fine. We know it works. You know, you want to be competitive? Yep, just release one of those, right? And so the X-ray is very funny. We'll make sure to pop it up on screen. This is credit to Braden. This is not my image. But it has a Proton. So you know how like
this
carbon,
exact logo right here,
yeah,
is it basically perforated through the center of the core.
Think the Carbon Genesis, the holes, the voids it has. This has the Proton logo in the center of the paddle.
Yeah,
which is probably one of the funniest things I've seen a company try. Because can you imagine now? Companies are going to be like arguing. They're going to be like, you know what? Our logo is 25% more optimal for the center of a paddle. You get 25% more flex with a Carbon logo than you do a Proton versus, whatever. Like, I think it'd be hilarious, but also ridiculous if companies started being like, yeah, our logo's better.
That's a marketing nightmare.
I mean, it's just seeing that. I'm like, okay, look, who knows what one without that logo is like. Maybe truly it does make a big difference. But if I'm just being the skeptic that I am, that's for marketing purposes and nothing else.
I gotta lean towards it's all for the marketing.
Yeah.
My question is, where's Carbon at with their whole patent on cutting holes through the entirety of a core?
Yeah, maybe it doesn't hold up. I don't know. I mean, we've seen quite a few, but also this stuff tends to get handled behind closed doors. But I mean, I'm trying to think some of the other paddles.
But if it was in place, these brands would be hearing from others that like, hey, Carbon sent us a thing, blah, blah, blah. So like, it wouldn't make sense to do it yourself then.
Yeah.
Or maybe they're not in touch with each other as much as I think they are.
Yeah, I don't know. But I mean, based on that X-ray, it's got holes, just like the Flick F1 did, just like probably a couple other paddles did.
Yep.
And so anyways, that's interesting.
It definitely gave me a good laugh seeing that the logo is cut out into the core. I can't imagine any performance benefits outside of just lightening the core.
Yes.
That would be the only benefit to doing that I can imagine.
And looking at it, I would love to know how much weight that's actually reducing, because a lot of the holes are pretty small.
Yeah.
Versus something like the Genesis.
And can I see that one more time?
Yeah.
It's not symmetrical. Like, it's a symmetrical, like, there's 3 larger holes in different areas.
Yeah, right.
So I don't know. The whole thing seems like a gimmick to me.
Yeah, I would definitely fall in that camp. The other thing, there's a couple other things looking at this X-ray that I'm noticing. First of all, it looks like there's a fiberglass patch, unless that's either, sometimes with these different X-ray images, depending on where it's done, things can look
that would
weird.
make sense if there is a fiberglass patch in the paddle. Based on how what I was feeling hitting it this morning, I feel like that makes sense.
Yeah, and if it is a fiberglass patch, it's very interesting. Well, first of all, it's just interesting that we're still doing that, because I feel like the Genesis, that was kind of one of the things that people were kind of like, hey, just make it the full face. Then they did that with the Waves. And also looking at it on an elongated paddle, I just feel like, I feel like elongated players, they're not usually hitting this spot of the paddle. I would say it's like more here.
Yeah.
So it's just interesting to me that companies keep going center mass. I know,
especially if you have a fiberglass patch, the only time that's going to be really taking or making any effect is on bigger swings, which, like you said, is going to be up here. And then typically on slower swings, like dinks, even some speed ups, is going to be more in the center of the paddle. So it just doesn't feel like it's going to be doing anything. Like
I mean,
a fiberglass patch in the center on like hitting some push dinks isn't doing anything.
I don't know if I'd say it's not doing anything, but I don't know how, like, I would imagine if you took two versions of this, one with and without, you'd probably feel the difference.
I mean, you might feel the difference, but I don't think it's going to change all that much.
I don't know. I would like to see with and without. But either way, it's just interesting that they kind of went with the fiberglass patch because I feel like we've already kind of seen that tried, and I feel like we learned that maybe that's not optimal.
Yeah. I mean, that's been a thing that I was not a fan of. Did the Flick F1 have a fiberglass patch in it?
Yes, it did.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
It did. So that's why I'm saying I just feel like we kind of know it didn't work. And then, yes, it does look like it has a EVA ring and what I presume is an EPP core. I suppose it could be MPP. Who knows exactly? Again, since I bought it myself, I don't have a lot of details, so I'm having to guess a little bit. But anyways, that's kind of the build of the paddle. The shape we have on the table right here is their typical, I mean, just looks. Do I have the...
It's the Carbon 3 shape, Invicta shape, the V7 shape.
Do I have a flamingo on the wall? I'm just trying to see if I could like hold it up to it or something.
No.
Okay. Darn. Must be upstairs or
The
something.
TKOC.
Yeah. Short
shape.
handle, longer face.
There's so many companies make this shape.
Yeah. And I mean, it is very popular amongst amateurs.
It is so popular, and I just don't get it. I don't understand.
Hey, sometimes the people like what they like.
This, outside of just this paddle, this is probably one of my biggest gripes with Proton as a whole.
Okay.
The fact that they only make it in one shape, and it has to be this shape.
Hey. I'm pretty sure I saw that they got two shapes for this one, but you're not.
I forgot.
You're going to like the other shape even less.
Oh, I totally forgot. I did.
Okay, so just so you guys know, there is the elongated, which is what we're talking about here. But they also have, I don't have it, but I've seen it. I think John maybe had it. It's a wide body that looks very, very similar to the J4K, which everyone ripped apart. Is that up on the wall
right now?
No, I think I put that in the garage.
Okay, where it belongs.
But I mean, I don't have it here to see the actual dimensions, but I mean, it just looks like a frying pan.
Didn't hold it, but who was playing, what's her name?
Callie?
Yes, Callie Smith at Worlds.
Yeah, I saw she had one.
Like a Sharpied out flamingo in that shape.
Yeah.
And it is as close to the J4K as possible. And oh my gosh, it's so bad. I totally forgot I tried to burn that out of my memory.
Look, as a person, as many of you know, I am die hard to the wide body. I love me a good wide body paddle. Love it. But when that J4K hit, I was like, I think there is a limit to, like, when you go past a certain width, I just don't think you're actually gaining more. Wide bodies are already so stable as they are. Sometimes you don't even need weight. Usually if you're adding weight, it's not even to make it more stable. If anything, it's to give it more head weight, give it some more plow through. So I just don't think that going even wider and a little bit shorter and making your reach even worse is a benefit to the extra stability that you may gain because wide bodies already have such a good sweet spot. Yeah. So I do think it's a really odd choice if how I'm seeing it online is really that similar to the J4, then I just feel like that decision doesn't make sense. And I think there's a lot of other wide body, I mean, basically any other wide body shape.
Wide body shapes.
Yeah, I mean, literally the Yola, just the Volair Mach 2 Forza, like basically any wide body on this wall.
The Yola, the Carbon, the
Bloom,
Loco, the
Era.
There's so many.
But whatever. So my guess is that one is probably going to be pretty hit or miss for a lot of people. But we already know this elongated shape is pretty popular. So let me give you the specs on this. Price, $280. Don't have a discount code for you, but I'm sure they exist out there.
Yeah.
And right now it's only at Dick's, so I have no idea when this is actually going to be. It's interesting that it's available at Dick's, but I didn't see it available anywhere else. Swing weight, 120. Twist weight, 6.25. Warranty, I don't know, again, because there's pretty limited information. The Dick's page didn't have anything. And then when I looked at Proton's website, their warranty actually varies depending on the paddle type. Like the Series 1 is a lifetime warranty. I want to say that the Roadrunner was like a year. So it kind of depends on the paddle. I have no idea where this one's going to fall, but when we have information, I can give that to you. If I had to guess, probably minimum 1 year to a lifetime warranty. I would have to think that would make the most sense given a foam core. So those are the initial specs of it. Now we can kind of dive into some of the performance. I'll go over it, then you can pop in some of your thoughts.
Yep.
It's a power paddle, definitely. I feel like most of the foam paddles coming out, they're going to be a power paddle. You hit the fiberglass patch, it's going to feel pretty poppy. I did feel, and I guess it makes sense now after hitting it, like I felt like there were times, not as drastic as the Genesis.
But inconsistencies?
Yeah, just, it's like it wasn't that the sweet spot was bad. Actually, this is what I think is really interesting. So on the Genesis, missing outside the sweet spot just felt bad. Like it just like a poor sweet spot.
Yeah.
When you missed outside of it. And with this, it was less of the sweet spot felt bad to me. And more just that like sometimes I would get a little bit more out of it than maybe I was expecting, and other times I would get a little bit less. But it wasn't like the Opal, the Quanta without weight, Paddle Tech. It didn't make me think of those where, kind of with the Genesis, a big complaint was like, man, you missed that fiberglass patch and it just doesn't really do anything. I didn't notice that as much with this. I think it still would have made more sense to just do a full sheet and you probably eliminate the entire issue as a whole. But yeah, so there was that. Wasn't a huge deal to me. Could probably get over it. I think a lot of people could probably get over it. Pop definitely felt good. Like I felt like if I squared a counter, it was very good. When I would go for a drive, they felt pretty big. I think to me, when I was playing it, is kind of how I view the Avatar in the US. So we've heard this a lot, but I guess people in Vietnam or just a lot of the Asia countries, the Avatar is not very expensive there. So, they can get it for maybe $160 USD, which at that price, yeah, I probably could have recommended the Avatar at that price to some people. But I think at $280, I don't think that the Peacock is doing enough different or anything unique enough for me to say that it's better than a VSOL Pro, that it's better than a Duo, that it's better than a Loco, that it's better than...
This is outside of the Waves, and Genesis is last for sure. This is the most expensive foam paddle, right?
Yeah, same as the Waves and Genesis.
It's the same as... Is the Wave Genesis 280?
I'm pretty sure they're 280, aren't they?
I thought it was 250.
No, that'd be after a code.
Okay.
Yeah, that'd be after a code. So
must be what I'm thinking.
Up there with the more expensive foam paddles. And I think what it's really going to come down to is, to me, when I was hitting it, there was not a thing about the performance that was bad that I wouldn't recommend it. The whole reason that I think I wouldn't be able to recommend this paddle is purely because there's so many good options at cheaper prices. The one thing this has that a lot of don't, and I'll give that credit for because I do think that's going to be relevant to people, is that it's dual certified.
I was going to say that would be the biggest selling point in my opinion.
So if you play in PBA qualifiers, that is a legitimate reason that you may want to consider this. But that's a whole different, camp of people.
So now this adds to the list of foam approved paddles would be Proton, Carbon, Nox, Sidekick.
I could pull up the list and
I think
tell you. There might
maybe
be even
one more. But there's not many. So it adds
Genesis, Waves, Engage.
Well, that's right, Engage.
Going through the list. Oh, there's all the Yolas. That's a long list. The Inferno, the Tornado.
Oh, duh.
Those Nox paddles. What is that? 6. The Flamingo. Or sorry, not the Flamingo. The Peacock. And there is interesting. They do have on the UPA list a 13 millimeter Peacock. We have a 15 millimeter, but I didn't see that available at Dick's, so I don't know if that.
Oh, it's 15.
Yeah, it's a 15.
Interesting. So this is, I think, as to my knowledge, the only 15 millimeter full foam core paddle.
Yeah, I don't think
I can't think of any other. So okay, that's interesting.
The Black Opal. So there's like 7 or 8 now. Okay, on the list.
Still a fairly small list. I feel
relative to everything else.
Yeah, for sure.
Let me go back to my notes here.
Yep.
So yeah, dual certified. I think that could be a reason, and depending on if it is a lifetime warranty, that would be another thing that potentially sets it apart from some of the other cheaper foam core paddles. So it kind of depends where you're going to place some value. But personally, I just don't think you have to spend $280.
I don't think you have to spend $280, and I think there's better options.
Yeah,
I think there's better performing options. on both sides, USAP and UPA approved paddles. Like,
which ones of the UPAA ones would you say is better?
Tornado, Inferno,
Inferno, I would definitely, yeah.
The Avatar,
Okay.
Waves.
Maybe
Dude,
the fixed one.
I playing with this morning.
Yeah.
I did not feel comfortable. I don't know what it was. I just felt very inconsistent with it.
I wonder how much of that could be the shape, because obviously you and I are both not a fan of this shape.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be curious if you had it in your preferred shape, if it would fix some of that. Maybe not.
Maybe it would have. I also felt like, so swing weight's 120. That's not outside of that's even low on my usual, but the balance point's definitely got to be high because it felt heavy in my hands.
Oh, interesting.
So I just felt slow. I think, yes, it hits the ball pretty hard. I think the sweet spot is okay. It has a weird feedback to it when you hit the sweet spot and the center. It almost like most full foam core paddles are pretty dense feeling, right? Think Loco, VSOL, Duo have a very firm, dense feel, which this has elements of that. But also when you hit the sweet spot, it's not quite hollow and, as we like to say, thonky like the Inferno.
Yeah, definitely not thonky. Like
nowhere near the Inferno.
Yeah,
but it loses that like dense feel. I don't know how to describe it. It felt really strange to me, and it just wasn't a feedback that I was really vibing with or enjoying much. So even when I did have crisp, clean contact, it just didn't feel right. Okay. I wasn't a huge fan of it. So I wasn't really making drops with it. I didn't feel comfortable. I will say, out of everything you hit, and maybe it's just because it was later in the session, you missed the most drops with this paddle.
Sure.
I don't know if that has anything to do with it.
I think honestly, to me at that point, when I'm looking at a paddle like that, I feel like I can often tell when it's paddle's bad or the paddle has a problem and I'm missing the drop, versus, like, to me, I think it would have just been, one, probably a little bit of an adjustment period to the paddle itself, and two, the shape being slightly outside my norm.
I think the shape thing is a big struggle for the both of us.
Like, you give me a couple more sessions with this, my guess is I'm probably not missing like that.
Sure.
Sure. So I think that I didn't, even though I was missing some of those, it's like, I don't think that's necessarily the paddle. That's probably more on me needing to adjust.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think as I'm playing with it, it's just one of those ones that's like, look, if someone went and bought it and they're like, do you think this is like a bad paddle? I'd be like, no, it's not. It's not like a metal bone. It's not like a...
Okay, actually, sorry to cut you off.
Yeah.
I have a curious question.
Okay.
This or the Opal?
The thing that I guess, like, let's just pretend I could make it the shape I want. I'm probably leaning the Peacock.
Interesting.
Yeah. I just think the sweet spot for me, and now granted, this is only one session on the Peacocks. Like, maybe I hit it some more times and I find some things that are more problematic. But to me, the Opal sweet spot is a pretty big downgrade for me. And I think under tournament pressure, that would be really hard.
What's very interesting, and this is like where we differ, because I don't know if I agree with how you feel about it.
Okay.
It doesn't mean you're wrong.
Yeah.
But I think I would lean the other way, and I would take the Opal. Even though I think the Opal has a tighter sweet spot, I think the Opal sweet spot is more consistent than the Peacock. I had issues with the consistency of how the ball would come off the face from the sweet spot of the Peacock over the Opal.
Interesting.
So even though the Opal, in my opinion, has a bit tighter sweet spot, I felt more comfortable with the Opal than this.
Huh, interesting. Yeah, I mean, that could come down to like some swing mechanics, like where we make contact, maybe if that is a fiberglass patch there, and who knows. I'm doubting it. I highly doubt it's carbon fiber in the middle there, kind of like the side strips they do, but like either way, doesn't really matter. Maybe if that was a little higher up or something because of like how you make contact. But yeah, I'm pretty sure I'd probably take the Peacock.
Okay.
But yeah, I just, the market's just so competitive that I feel like you really got to offer something either that's
or
unique.
Almost 3 VSOLs.
Yeah.
It's
and I
crazy.
mean, I'm probably making the VSOL recommendation like 9 out of 10 times.
Yeah.
And look, I'm not saying someone's not going to pick this up. and be like, dude, this is just, it's the paddle for me. There will absolutely be people like that, and that's fine. If you want to spend around $300, be my guest.
Mhm.
But I just don't think you have to.
No.
You know, like I brought the Duo with this morning to hit a little bit more as well, and I was like, yeah, I would absolutely, for me, take the Duo over the Peacock.
Yeah, hitting them side by side, I definitely would take the Duo over the Peacock. I much preferred the feedback and feel of the Duo.
Yeah. And that's where, feedback and feel, that always comes down to some preference, but I just think
think it was more positive feedback and feel.
Yeah. I think it's the big thing with this is the value.
Yeah.
Value is where it all comes down to this. It's not going to be that the difference in performance is so drastic, though some of you may not like that patch. It's just you got $280 to spend.
It's another one of those, like, even though it's a bit odd and has some quirks, it's still performative enough to where you can't blame the paddle.
Yeah.
Right.
And you know what else this actually does have that I think a lot of the foam paddles don't? I'm like trying to think really hard in my head here. I don't know that there's the only other one would be the Waves with this style handle.
Yeah.
So if you
No.
Who?
VSOL.
Oh, you're right. Okay. Yeah, you're right. So there's
V7.
You're right. There's the V7, the Waves, and this. So
Yes.
okay, there are 3 paddles.
Boom.
So, and you can get the VSOL in 2 different styles. So I guess that does
The only thing this has going for it is that it's a 15. That's its standout thing.
Yeah.
Is it's a 15 millimeter foam core. I will say I like the color of it. The green is a very interesting color.
Yeah.
I'm not a huge fan of this patch design across the whole face of it this way, but
I could see where that would be polarizing or not.
color's nice.
But yeah, I like that green.
Yeah.
Also, it's like some of these ones, I know bigger colors are kind of polarizing to people. Kind of like the Charm. People are like, oh, orange. I don't want to see that. But,
for sure.
I mean, you're out in public, you can see that, but you're going to be able to see this from a mile away.
You know what it is for
4
sure.
courts down, you're like, yep, that's a Peacock, that's a Charm.
Also, this is, maybe I should just save this for later, but just speaking of like recognizable paddles, guess what I saw somebody using in Lakeland? In the 5-0 division. It's on the wall right now.
a metal bone?
No, worse.
What? A 007 10 mil?
Yes.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I don't know if it was exactly the 10 mil, but it was a 007, and I went,
Wait, no,
huh?
hang on. Did I play
You were on the same court with them when they were warming up.
That's right. Yes,
Mhm.
that's right. Yeah,
Yep.
that's
I
probably...
was like, are my eyes working right?
Yeah, that's right. Oh, yeah, because we played some warm-up games with them. Yep, that's right.
Yeah. I was
Yeah.
like, that's crazy.
Yeah, that is kind of crazy.
Definitely recognizable. But I just thought that was funny.
Totally.
So, yeah, interesting paddle. Would not be my favorite.
Sure. Yeah.
Out of the UPA approved foam paddles, can't say about the Knox ones because I haven't hit those. This would be probably near. If I had to pick of any of the foam paddles to go to a qualifier tomorrow, this would not be at the top of my list. I can say that.
Sure.
But again, I'm sure there are people out there who will love it.
Yeah. So, I don't know. We'll keep you posted. I'm sure I'm going to do a first impressions after I get some more time on this. This is only 1 session so far. So, curious if there's anything else I kind of pick up on or, maybe some nuances that kind of stand out.
And who knows? We know that foam core paddles are very susceptible to change with weight. So it might not feel good now, but maybe we put some weight on it and it turns into a whole new paddle.
Yeah, for sure. So, okay, we'll keep you guys posted on that. But that's the Peacock.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see.
We're at an hour, Mr. Short Pod this week, and we're not even to the kitchen yet.
Dang it. God dang it. Every time, dude,
time.
You know what? It's just, when I say it, it's just know it's going to be, that's just the meme of this pod. Chris says it's going to be a long pod. Okay. That's just how it is.
That's so
and then I'm
funny.
sure there's even more questions and answers on Instagram.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's do this monthly paddle roundup. We're at the end of November. Christmas is coming up. People are probably asking for some paddles. They might be buying some paddles for people. Let's talk about paddles we recommend to people. And
Yeah.
again, this is first time we're doing this as like a roundup. We threw it together very quickly. I'm almost positive there are paddles in this room that I did not think to add to this. And just because a paddle is not on this list doesn't mean it's not a good paddle, but
This is just the most prevalent at the moment paddles that we can think of
that you should probably consider.
for sure.
Yeah, just to help narrow your options
I guarantee there's gonna be so many duplicates on both of our lists. We could play like Go Fish.
Oh, I guarantee it. I'd be curious to know. I'd be more curious to know how many different ones there are.
I was gonna say there will be less different paddles on our list than matching.
We haven't.
There's one I know that's not on your list that's on mine.
We haven't compared. I have no idea what Isaac wrote. Isaac doesn't know what I wrote.
Yep, I haven't looked at his.
So let's get into it.
Okay. I bet our first ones are the same though.
I kind of have 3 in this first one because they kind of all fall in. I would call this the value camp.
Okay.
If you are looking for a power paddle on the cheap, these 3 options are what you should consider.
Okay.
A Quanta, a Rhombus Quanta, a Vatic Pro V-Sol Pro, in my opinion. But if you do want something that's denser, softer feeling, there is the Power.
Yep.
And I think there are people that would want that. But personally, I believe that the Pro is the better paddle. But it depends on who you are. And then the third one would be the Luz Cannon.
Okay.
So, and I clumped them all together because they're all about $100 after a code. And I think the first 2, amazing foam options, and one's Gen 3. If you love Gen 3s out there.
The only one on there that I don't have, then I have the same thing kind of grouped together, is the Quanta. I have the V-Sol Pro and the Cannon for the budget. Like, one's a Gen 3, one's a full foam paddle. If you got $100, both great options.
I do think maybe some, and we're going to try not to dive super deep into the nuances, but when it's relevant, I'll try and bring it up. I do think that the V-Sol for people, if you're like, man, I don't know, should I go Quanta or should I go V-Sol? Like, I don't know what to pick. I think that you pick V-Sol if you're someone who wants to customize your paddle less. They're better out of the box, sweet spot wise.
Yeah.
You don't need to add weight. The Quanta, you really got to add weight if you want to bring it to its full potential. I think a lot of people would probably be surprised picking up a Quanta and go like, man, everyone's like raving about this thing. It's when you add weight that you kind of unlock. So, but if you don't want to do that, then go V-Sol.
For sure.
Pro. Okay. So we're similar in that one.
Yep.
All right. Next one. I mean, I already know this is on both our lists. This has been both our favorite paddles for a couple months now, and that would be the Loco.
Yep.
I mean, this has been probably one of the most talked about foam paddles, I would say, since it came out, and for good reason. You got 3 shapes. You got an elongated, a hybrid, a wide body. They're all very non-polarizing shapes. Like if anything's polarizing, it might be the wide body with a slightly shorter handle. Mm-hmm. But even for me, average size hands, I can still fit a Tui on it without a complaint. But I mean, it's just an awesome paddle. It's not an offensive price. It is more than, about double what a Quanta or a V-Sol is, but it performs exceptionally well.
Yeah.
And like I said in my review, if you want, you can go watch that for more information. But when it came out, I was kind of like, I mean, you got a Quanta, you got a V-Sol, and then like maybe you go a little bit more for some other options. Like who's going to buy this? Like, what's the point? And then after I play test, I was like, dude, I love this paddle. I think it's really good. And I was like, I do think that it slots in as an option that people should consider.
For sure.
Maybe not for the budget conscious, but I think it is an exceptionally good paddle.
Yeah.
It's just great.
Yeah.
Seriously.
I have so many good things to say about it. I like it so much. I've been using it a ton. The biggest downside is just the fact that it's not UPA approved and I can't use it for qualifiers. But otherwise, I think it's a fantastic paddle. And now, for all the people, which not that there really was anybody, because it was pretty tame, toned down design-wise for bread and butter, the fully blacked out one is now a thing.
Yeah, they did give us a blackout. I don't have it down here.
I don't have it on me.
But they did a blacked out version. Edgeguard's black. So
it has a couple teeny little accent colors with like the logo or the name bread and butter on it, but it's otherwise everything else is blacked out. And I think it looks very sleek. So for people who want a more quiet paddle, they now make it for you.
Yeah.
So yeah, Loco is definitely top of my list for recommendations. And there's been so many people that we know who have been either wanting one or have started using it, and now they main it. And
my men's partners, he doesn't know if he's going to switch, but he has one now.
Yep.
And he's going to be
He was asking
experimenting
for
with it.
one, and he wants to mess around with it.
Mia wanted to mess with an elongated after Lakeland. Like she was like, "Oh, this feels pretty good for singles." I mean, I really have not had. I actually genuinely don't know if I've had anyone who has asked to try it and was like, there are definitely paddles where I'm like, this is a good paddle.
Yeah.
I'll hand it to someone and they're like, I really don't like this. I have not had that with a Loco yet. Doesn't mean they don't exist. I'm not saying it's a perfect paddle. It's not for everyone.
Yeah.
But it is definitely one of those ones that people pick it up and they usually are like, yeah, this is good.
100%.
So in that same camp, kind of like the last one, I would put this like pretty adjacent. And we're about to have more. Luz is sending 2 more Infernos, so I can start working on some content on those. I wanted to be able to do a post and pre-break-in because it does seem like the Inferno, more than some of the other foam paddles, kind of has a weird break-in. But I would put that adjacent to the Loco. It is a little bit more, but you do get, I would say, a bit more pop and power out of it than the Loco. And also, if you just want it to literally sound like it's busted beyond belief, that it thonks.
They thonk.
That's probably the thonkiest foam paddle on the market. I don't think it's a contest.
Nothing comes close. The boomstick comes close, but
it's not like a thonk. The boomstick is like a loud clap.
Yeah, you're probably right.
I mean, it's loud and you'll recognize it too, but like they're different sounds, you know.
You know when there's an Inferno on the court.
I do, I want to spend more time with it. The thing that like for the Inferno is like I just find that like the company as a whole just seems like kind of odd, and like how the website is and like communication a little bit. That's not anything to do with the paddle performance, but like that's always just a little weird to me. But it seems like some of that's been pretty good. I've heard pretty good customer service experiences overall, so maybe that concern is really not that much to worry about. But yeah, Loco, Inferno. Basically, I'd say Inferno if you want a little bit more juice. The Loco's already got a lot, but the Inferno just kicks it up a notch. Next up on the list.
The Inferno was on both of our lists, by the way.
Yeah, I think we just keep going down this until we don't have it on our list.
Fair enough.
And then when you can just say all the ones that we didn't have.
Yeah.
Next up for me would be the Duo.
Okay.
Is the Duo on your list?
It is on my list.
Okay, we're still matching here. We're still rocking the match. So, we haven't gotten to make any formal content on the Duo, but I keep bringing it out when I've been testing paddles.
Actually, sorry to interrupt. The Duo is not on my list.
Oh, you're right.
The Onk is on my list.
Yes, the Onk is on the list. That's so funny. Okay, this paddle, it's. Would you say it's like? I almost kind of want to kind of like how that first list. I had 3 kind of like, hey, these are like adjacent to each other in some way, mostly because they're adjacent in value. But I feel like I'd almost put Duo, Loco, Inferno like adjacent-ish, not because they're the same paddle, but because they're kind of trying to occupy similar spaces, but maybe it's like the feel changes a bit. Would you say that or no?
Definitely Loco, Inferno are much closer, and I think the Duo is close, but a little bit out of that realm for me.
Why would you? Okay, what makes you say it's out of the realm? I'm curious if this is the same answer for us, because I could agree with that.
I just think that how it's marketed and the group of people it's marketed towards is not quite the same as those other 2 paddles.
But like, why? Like, is it something about the performance?
No, nothing to do with the performance. I also just think feel-wise, it's quite a bit different than those other paddles.
Yeah.
I just think that just Enhance Pickleball as a whole is a very different branding company than the others, where Enhance is like kind of more caters towards the beginners and intro people, and the Duo is more like, hey, this is kind of would be an intro to like a higher end performance power paddle versus the bread and butter. Not that wouldn't be for people, but I just think it's marketed a bit different.
Sure. Well, so like performance, what do you think the main difference is? To me, it's kind of comes down to feel. It probably isn't quite as poppy. Well, definitely not as poppy as the Inferno. The Inferno's
king of that.
Yeah,
king.
Like if I'm ranking these 3, it would go from like lowest pop to highest pop. It'd go Duo, Loco, Inferno.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And then feel wise, Inferno, Loco, pretty close.
Whoa!
Hey, whoa! Calm down. I was about to clarify.
You better.
When the Inferno breaks in and gets ridiculously thonky, it changes quite a bit.
Not even brand new though.
I think they're...
Look, I hit the Duo.
They're cousins.
Sorry, not Duo. I hit the Inferno and the Loco side by side, brand new.
Wait. Okay, continue.
I would not put them in the same feel category.
No,
at all.
you said Duo Loco?
Sorry, no. I meant Loco Inferno.
Oh, okay. I was like, bro, we're talking about different paddles here.
I
Calm down.
Loco Inferno.
Okay.
Because the Loco has the patch, it's CFC, so it has that patch of fiberglass. So it's a bit stiffer.
Not patch.
Or
Full.
sorry, not patch. Yeah, we were talking
Full
about
sheet.
the patch. It's a layer, a sheet of fiberglass. So it's a bit stiffer, where the Inferno is just a springy, almost not mushy, but just like it hugs and grabs the ball and then just launches it. Where the Loco has a much quicker, it's almost like Yola RPM.
Sure.
Where the Loco is the Yola, where it's a stiffer feedback and quicker response. And then the Inferno is the RPM, where it has a softer feel to it, but it launches the ball.
Okay. Well, I mean, you've hit it more than me, so I'll trust you for now. I guess we'll see when I get mine.
It has a much more hollow feel to it.
Yeah.
For sure.
But yeah, the Duo to me, denser, maybe not quite as
Yes.
jumpy. I'd say it's, of those three, it's probably easiest to use.
I'd also say it's probably the stiffest. It has the most feedback in the hand.
I don't know.
Where when you hit the center of the Inferno, it's like square in the barrel of a baseball bat.
Inferno,
Like you didn't even feel it, but you know that thing just got sent to the moon.
Inferno, harder for me to say, but like Loco wise, I don't know. I just don't know if I would have like described the Duo as stiff. Like I wouldn't have described it as like soft. It's like crisp.
Yeah, it definitely has a crisp, dense feel to it.
It's like whatever it is very appealing. I think it feels great.
I think it's a bit harsher of a feedback than I would prefer. Because normally I lean towards the feeling of like the Inferno.
Yeah.
Really plush, springy feel. Then the Loco has kind of brought me in towards that more responsive, stiffer feel. And then the Duo adds a bit too much to that for me. I like it, but it's
really
not quite
interesting.
what I would prefer. I think it's very good,
Sure.
but it's just slightly outside of what my normal preference would be if I'm picking,
Okay.
which I am.
Well, either way,
But the price point of it's great.
Yeah,
and,
I mean,
and that's the appealing part to this.
for
And
Black
that's-
Friday, I think after like discount code and the Black Friday sale, I think like, if you use code PB Studio on top of that, I think it's like 150 or 155. Killer. We've talked about. We did a whole Black Friday episode last week. There'll be a link in the description if you want to find the deals. But like, the Duo is a great deal
Yeah.
of foam paddles right now. I mean, besides like Vsol and Quando where they're super cheap, obviously those are exceptionally good deals. But like, Duo's high up there as well.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's move on from that. But I would kind of put those in a similar playing field where definitely gonna have a preference one way or another. They're not the same paddles, but like they're close in
They're
like
occupying a similar space.
yeah
For sure.
Versus if you take like I'm gonna move on.
So,
We're already
actually,
talking too long.
I was going to say, we spent more time than I feel like we normally would / should have. I'm curious, how many total paddles are on your list? Should have asked at the
1, 2,
beginning.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11,
Oh my
12,
gosh.
14.
Jeez. You're like double my list, bro.
I got a lot of recommendations,
4,
bro.
5, 6. Yeah, you have double. I have 7.
Hey, there's a lot of different players out there. They all got different needs, bro.
Jeez.
They all got different
Keep it
needs.
simple.
All right. Yeah. Well, I'll be curious to see where your list ends.
Yeah.
Okay, next up, Boomstick.
I actually didn't have that one on my list.
Oh, really?
I thought about it. I really did.
Okay.
And I just think I don't know, maybe I would put it on my list because there's definitely a group of people who love it. I mean, I like it. Just the more I talk to people about it at these events and stuff, the price really eats at people.
Oh, I mean, without a doubt, $333 versus all the options you got.
The hardest thing to recommend. The reason why it's like bordering my list now is because when it first came out, there really wasn't any other options.
Yeah.
That for what it was. It was you either pay $333 and get this or you don't.
Yeah.
Now there's so many other foam options that maybe not exactly the same, but you can spend a lot less money and get something pretty darn close.
It's
you know?
definitely a paddle that is, I don't want to say like falling off my recommendation list. I think here's what makes it tough. When I did my review, I talked about the edge guard coming loose.
Yep.
And they said, hey, this isn't going to be an issue. We're working on it. I still see a lot of complaints in my Discord about edge guards coming loose. I've seen cracks in the face, and I'm really like the occasional edge guard coming loose. Okay, I can get over that, right? That it's just a problem sometimes with paddles. It's mostly fixed. It really doesn't happen all that often anymore, but I can get over it, and I think that's a fixable problem. But months later, and we're still seeing this issue after they're like, it should have been fixed. Very disappointing. Now, of course, yeah, they've got great customer service, but like, should you have to warranty a $333 paddle within a couple weeks of your edge guard? I just think that is like very, for Selkirk's history of being like, we are so quality focused and we don't want these issues and we're very against these types of things. It's just like, what happened?
Yeah.
I don't know. And maybe if we took a percentage, I'm sure if they pull up their warranty claims, they're going to say it's very low, but also every company says that. With core crushing, they're like, yeah, it's like 1% of our paddles. Well, how many are in the wild and you just don't know have that issue?
Exactly.
Right? Anyways, that's what makes it harder for me to recommend is it's like, dude, at $333, awesome, you have a lifetime warranty. Awesome, you take care of your customers. But like, that's just frustrating to have to mail in a paddle for an edge guard coming loose. Yeah. And then like the crack in the face.
It has elite performance. There's no doubt about that. Performance is top tier. It's very good. It's just that there are other cheaper options that also have very good performance.
To me, the boomstick comes down to like, if you really want that like elite pop from it and you love how it feels, like, look, I can recommend it. I like playing with it. It's still like one of my favorite paddles, but at that price and where the market's headed, it becomes you got to be someone who just doesn't care about money.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I wouldn't tell someone like, yeah, hey, just go buy a boomstick over a Vessel Pro. Mm-hmm. Like it'd be a more nuanced conversation than that.
Yeah. Right. So,
okay, that's the boomstick.
That's why it's like it's kind of close to my list, but it's actually not on my list.
I already know this paddle this is probably where we're going to start. The list is going to start differing. It's my guess.
For sure.
Next up on my list would be J2NF and J2FC Plus.
Not on my list.
I knew it wouldn't be on your list, but I'll be very curious to see where you would fill some of these gaps or what else is in your list. So I'll go over this quick. FC Plus, I think most people already know this. The paddle's been talked about plenty, but like FC Plus, you get a little less juice out of. You still got some juice. By today's standards of where power is going, these are like probably starting to fall closer to all court, like very bottom of power if being generous. I got to pull them back out here and start hitting them just as like a refresher. But I think the sweet spots are elite. I think for people who just don't want the top power, which is a lot of people, it's a great option. And like I don't think a hybrid is matched in stability in terms of what Honolulu offers. Mm-hmm. So I think it's very good. And it kind of helps fill hey dude, I don't want juice all the time, man. I don't need a boomstick. I don't need an Inferno. Like I just want something with a little less, but I still got some offense when I want it. And I think that fills a really good role right there. So that's those.
You know what that paddle is?
What?
A Vessel.
But I'd have to hit them side by side to see. I feel like the Vessel Pro would be poppier and more powerful than like an FC Plus.
Can't be by that much.
I don't know.
I'd put them in similar camps. I'd rather just get a Vessel. More shape options, better shape options.
Not stability wise, I tell you what. I don't think you can beat that hybrid shape. Okay, let me rephrase. Let me rephrase. Stability wise. But it's not like the perfect two-hander shape for people. Like that handle is a short handle. Well, they do have the long handle though.
I can throw 5 ounces of lead on both corners and say, wow, I have the most stable paddle that in existence.
Yeah, but these aren't heavy.
Nah, give me the handle length. I don't like J2K shape.
What about the long handle one?
I wasn't a fan. I hit that one too. I didn't like it.
Hater.
I'm just saying.
Moving on.
Yeah, moving on.
I bet this probably not on your list.
Okay.
But Thrive Fury.
That one was also very close to my list.
Why didn't it make the list?
Maybe I should have just put it on. Maybe it was because I was overthinking about how many paddles I wanted to put on my list. I didn't want to have too many.
Because here's the way I'm thinking about it is like, what are like when some of my friends come and ask me questions and they're like, hey, I'm looking for this type of paddle. Like, what are the paddles that usually come through my mind right away? And the Fury being obviously the Canon beats it in terms of being cheaper, but like so stiff, so poppy, that hybrid. The elongated, for whatever reason, is less poppy. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me. But like that hybrid, man, like I'm not a guy who goes out of my way to recommend Gen 3 paddles, but I know there are a lot of people who still like them.
Mm-hmm.
And I definitely think there's a camp of people where the Fury fits.
Yeah, I typed it and put it on my list, and I got rid of it just because I think I was overthinking about how many paddles should be on the list. But I'd put it back on there just because I agree. Like the Canon is the value king of Gen 3s, and that's why I put it on there. But it doesn't quite have the feel and offense of the Fury. Plus, the Fury comes in 2 shapes. So, yeah, I'm throwing it back on there. That's on the list for sure.
All right.
Next up
On my list, I'm going to put these kind of all in. We'll just clump them in. This is my control category. Well, that's what we'll call it.
Next time we do this, I definitely got to categorize these better because I was just typing them out randomly.
Yes, I think if categorizing will help, and then people kind of know why they're positioned, how they are. We definitely.
And this isn't like a top to bottom list. This is just us going through paddles.
Yeah, this is not a 1st through 10th.
Yeah,
this is just different needs, different players.
Yep.
So these 3 I'm kind of going to clump in the same. Look, I know they're old, and I know people are going to be like, oh, dude, these paddles are a couple of years old. How can they still be on this list? Find me better control paddles. Ready for this? Vatic Pro Prism, 11624 Jelly Bean, and the Volair Mach 2 Forza. The only other paddle that I'd maybe add for control, maybe, and I would need to hit it more, but just from remembering hitting it this summer, would have been the C45 16 tempo.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
Yeah.
C45 is top of my control paddle list.
It's like, and it's also
16.
16. Yeah, 16. It's also ridiculously light. It's like a 98 swing weight.
And then you choke up, and then it's like a 70 swing weight. Yeah.
No, it wouldn't even be 70. You choke up on that thing, it's probably like 40. The handle's already so short.
It's so light.
Yeah, but honestly,
the
the one thing that paddle would really have going for it, for like a lot of really young juniors, that paddle would probably work really well. It's just so light.
Yeah. Okay. We gotta take a detour really quick. Okay. I wasn't gonna bring it up, and I was gonna say this at another time, not on the podcast, but I just gotta say it anyway.
Hit me.
You complain all the time. Oh, it's elongated. It's too heavy. I can't swing this. It's just we need lower swing weights. Oh my gosh, telling all these people they need lower swing weights, bro. I see these juniors, 12, 13-year-olds swinging elongated paddles with weight on them. You're too heavy excuse.
These kids, they're just stronger than me. What can I say?
Terrible excuse. Genuinely terrible excuse. Bro,
the only elongated paddles that, like, when I think it actually genuinely starts becoming more of an issue is when we start creeping past 124 plus.
Bro, we got Tama out here with forearms the size of your thumb swinging a boomstick. Okay? I'm just saying, your excuse of these paddles are too heavy, out the window.
I just think at that point it's just preference. There are obviously people that can swing them. It's just not my preference to swing a 123 elongated paddle.
When we get to the Lakeland update, that explains everything.
I don't even know what update you're gonna give there, but okay. So I guess those 4. Look, the C45 tempo really isn't a paddle. I don't think I've ever recommended it once, but for people who either really want an absurdly light, fast hands paddle and don't want it to be super offensive, I do think that would be a solid control option.
My control paddle recommendation for there is the C45 Tempo 16 and the Dynasty. Both of those.
See, like I hit that Dynasty this morning, and I just feel like that
the 16.
Yeah,
that was the 16.
That was the 16. Yeah, I just don't know if I would have called it control.
For sure, control paddle.
I'll have to think about that. Hayden sure doesn't make that look like a control paddle.
He doesn't play with the 16.
Pretty sure he does.
No, he doesn't.
I'm looking this up right now.
Go to the website.
I'm going to the website right now.
Pull it up.
I'm going to the website. Beep boop bop. Dial up noise.
He has his own
sports. I know. That's where I'm going.
Watch it actually be the 16, and I just am totally wrong.
Well,
possible, but I could have swore it's not.
45 Hayden paddle series. Come
Hit
on,
me with
load it up. Quick
Come
view.
on.
Accept cookies. God, why are you making me accept so many cookies? Dude, this web. Okay, hang on. The website on the iPad's like freaking out. Okay, hang on.
Come on.
Thickness. Where are we at here?
Hit me with
Dude,
it.
could they make this any harder to find the thickness? They've got literally.
Is it on the face of the graphic of the paddle? Oh my gosh.
You might be right this one time. It's a 14.
Boom, baby.
I could have sworn he played a 16. Hang on. Now I'm going to Instagram pictures.
He might have it one time.
Let's
but
see
not
here.
anymore, baby. Not what he's beating Ben Johns with.
Aiden. Dang. Well, maybe he changed. Maybe now he prefers the 14. Maybe I'm just thinking like way.
Originally when he switched to the elongated.
I don't know why the internet's being so crazy. Okay. Hang on.
Yeah, I don't know. It's being weird.
Yeah. No. I think it's just 14. All right. I'm wrong. All right. Isaac was right for once.
Whoa, for what? Dang.
For once.
Dang.
For once, he was right.
But yeah, so that I think the 16 for both elongated and wide body C45s are my control. And then I'm going to throw this in here too. I know I'm kind of skipping the Friday paddle. Not quite control. All court control-ish.
I definitely would say all.
And budget.
Court. And does fall budget.
The Friday paddle. That's on my list.
Okay.
Of recommendations. Is that on your list?
It's not on my list. It's not a bad paddle. It's not a bad paddle. It just didn't quite make the list. But, I think as an all-court option, that is a good option.
One. It's a good one.
So I had the C45. I mean, just all the C45s as like, if you're just looking for a light option, like, is a great option.
Yeah.
And you know what? I have to give Franklin credit. I have no problem admitting when I'm wrong. When I'm wrong, I'll perfectly admit it. C45, when I reviewed it, the big question I had was durability because mine broke in like a week and a half. Like face was peeling up and there were people with rattling issues and they said they were working on fixing it. I see a lot of C45s in the wild. I don't hear complaints about them.
Yeah.
I know they still can
I don't hear complaints from amateurs, but I've heard complaints from
pros. Just don't count. I just don't even.
Tyra broke one. Remember that period of time when there was like a bunch of paddles that didn't like get approved in time, blah, blah, blah. Tyra said she broke it in a week.
Yeah. I mean, here's the thing with pros. I just expect them to break literally everything.
They're not breaking these foam paddles. Just saying.
I'm sure, but they'll still retire them for grid or whatever. Like, I just like pros. I just like, they're just a different animal. They're just a whole different.
Well, they're just putting more reps on paddles.
Yeah, it's
just accelerated.
Yeah, exactly. So obviously it's a Gen 3. It can still core crush, but the extreme durability concerns that I was worried about, I think I was wrong about. And I think it has been better. Okay. I mean, Mia's been playing it, and it's not like, hits the ball harder than me, honestly, and like hasn't broke it like how my C45 broke. Sure. So I think it was just like an initial batch that probably weren't constructed that well.
Yeah. I mean, definitely still giving Franklin credit. Like it's better for sure than the original one that you got.
Yeah, no doubt.
So
the only other one I think I have on my list, even though I haven't put a lot of time on it, I think it's probably going to be a paddle that I'll be able to recommend as like an all-court option. But I think the Coral will be on there.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that one. I need to spend more time with it.
I think as an all-court...
What's the price point of it?
$200 before a code.
$200 before a code. Okay. Yeah.
I think that's very reasonable. All-court, foam, if the diamond texture holds up.
Yeah.
Great combo.
I forgot we talked about that and that it's released.
Yep.
That's a good one. I didn't think about that one. Yeah. I got one on my list that's not on yours.
Let's hear it.
The Waves.
Okay, I'm not.
Yeah, see, hold up.
I'll wait till I get to try some more. But I'll go with the ones that I tried.
But let me explain. The reason why is even though it may not fit the flavor profile of paddle that you like, I think, and I've said this before, it's the Gen 1 of foam paddles where it doesn't have the greatest sweet spot, but like people who use a paddle tech or those Gen 1 paddles but want to transition into full foam paddles, I think it's the easiest transition from Gen 1 honeycomb paddles to foam.
Sure, I guess if you just want to stick with bad. Just kidding. I'm being dramatic. Yeah. Being dramatic.
So,
okay, sure.
Like that's why I think it bridges that gap between from honeycomb to foam.
Okay. I mean, I think that's a reasonable thought there.
Yeah.
I think that's reasonable. So, look, like I said, guys, we'll start doing a better job with this segment.
It was a little chaotic this time.
Little chaotic. We'll probably clean it up, make it a little quicker, maybe not ramble as much. But I hope that just helps you guys kind of understand like where the market is, some options you can consider, and just like you can share this with your friends as like a, hey, if you're trying to find some options, here are the ones you should consider. Doesn't mean that there aren't a giant sea of other paddles you could consider, but hopefully it just helps narrow it down so it's less confusing.
Yeah.
Because I think it's more than ever, it's probably extremely confusing for people who are just like, dude, like, what do I buy? This is exactly why people end up with like Selkirks, Yolas, Paddletechs, like these bigger name brands. They're just like, dude, whatever. Like these look good enough. I'll just play with one of those. Mm-hmm. Not that any of those are like particularly bad paddles.
You just see the most of them out in the wild.
Yeah.
And when people see others with something and they don't know what to get, it's easiest to just get what other people have. Yeah. Look at you, Mr. Short Pod, looking back at the time.
Look, you know what? Screw it. Hang on, actually, just in case. Oh, Frank, I actually have to leave soon. I have to go play pickleball soon. So we actually do kind of, look, I would have made this a 2-hour plus pod if I had the time. We're going to speed run this with like, I'm going to give us like 8 minutes to wrap this up.
Okay.
Because I really got to get out of here.
We just got to pick some of the most important questions here. And then I want to get to some of these things from Lakeland, and then we can call
Let's do this. Let's do the Lakeland, because it can always save the questions for next week, because they'll still be relevant.
True.
So go ahead with whatever you have to say about Lakeland.
Yo. Okay. First of all, this might be my favorite story from Lakeland. This gave me, I'm sorry, I did not catch your name, but you gave me the greatest laugh of all time. So I'm walking around the event. You'd finished up a match on mixed day. And was kind of roaming around, and then I bump into a buddy of mine, Yates Johnson. I start talking to him, and we're just chatting about random things. And this guy with a dog starts walking up to us with a pretty serious look on his face. And he walks up, looks like very close to us, looks and taps Yates on the shoulder and looks right at him and is like, oh, he needs to talk to Yates or something. He needs this guy or whatever. And he goes, hey, really sorry to interrupt your conversation. And then immediately turns to me and goes, I found this service dog in the parking lot. I think it belongs to a guy who's a 3.5 pretending and trying to be a 5.0. And I laughed so hard. I don't know. It just made my day. I didn't catch your name, man, but that was hilarious.
That is unhinged levels of savage.
You lost your service dog.
Dude. Break. Yeah, that's pretty funny. I'm not gonna lie, that's pretty hilarious. That's definitely one of the more clever jokes I have heard people come up with.
Yeah, that was a good one.
That is definitely on the more clever list of things. I guess, man, I'm trying to think if there's any stories like I really want to go over that are worth telling quickly. But also, I guess just for people curious, I'm long overdue for some Chasing 5.0 episodes. I was supposed to have one out last week. Getting sick really screwed that up. We're currently 3 tournaments delayed.
Dude, everybody got sick. Speaking of the sick, everyone I talk to everywhere, they're like, did you get that really bad cold? Dude,
Mine was a fever.
It spread like wildfire.
Yeah.
Fever, cold. It was terrible.
So for some context, I got sick right before this tournament. I got sick Wednesday and I had to leave Friday.
Yep.
Had a super bad fever Wednesday, Thursday. Friday, I was still sick, but good enough to travel, and I was like, I'm just really hoping I'll be fine Saturday, Sunday. Saturday, I probably really wasn't 100%, but I don't know if I can say it impacted me that much. Like, I felt mentally slow, is what it was. Like, at the kitchen, I was just like, my head feels like groggy. Sunday, I would say I was fine, but man, getting sick right before a tournament, that sucks.
Mm-hmm.
It really sucked. That's not fun. I do want to give a shout out to the PBA. They've been doing this for a little bit. But they've been doing streamed courts, and now it's not always active. It's not always working properly, but I do really like this as a feature because the majority of courts are streamed, and you can send that link to family and friends when you go up. Even on Pickleball, I actually just learned this, but on the Pickleball Brackets website, when you're looking at the bracket, you can tap, if you're looking at like the match you're about to play, there's the little like what looks like a refresh icon. You can tap that, and then that will take you straight to that stream.
Yeah.
So instead of having to go to YouTube and find it, you can find it on Pickleball Brackets, which I think is a really nice addition. And I was talking to Matt, the guy who runs it, or like operates all that. Like he sets up all the phones, and like I was just asking him some questions. I think it's a great addition. Sometimes the quality kind of sucks because I assume they're using like mobile networks for these, and that's obviously can result in some like times where it's not great. But most of the time, it's enough that I can like go pull it up and look at something quick. If I just want to remember how something happened or show someone a clip of the tournament. I just think it's a great addition.
Yeah, for sure.
That's
great
sweet.
feature. I think it's a cool, smart idea.
Yeah.
And
I think it enhances experience for people who can't attend. Like
Yeah.
Sarah, my wife, hasn't come to any of these yet. She'll come to Daytona, and I can just send her a link and say, hey, I'm up if you want to watch.
Yeah.
Let's see here. It is 2:26, man.
When are you playing?
At 3. Yeah, I know. I gotta like go. I gotta like dump this pod footage. All right, guys, we're gonna have to call it early this week. Otherwise, I would have made it a 2-hour pod for you. But
and keep in mind, folks, this is the man who said that this is gonna be a short one.
Just every single. I don't think I've ever been right.
No, your track record on this is genuinely horrible.
Maybe I do it on purpose. Maybe I do it on purpose, huh?
Man.
All right. Anyways, thanks for listening, guys. We hope you enjoyed the podcast. We will continue this long podcast next week.
Yeah.
But yeah, peace.
Oh, actually, wait, real quick.
Word. We forgot last week.
Well, yeah, but the word. Yeah, wait. We need a word. Service dog.
Service
dog is the word of the week. I don't know how y'all are going to implement that into a comment, but that's the word of the week. Now, before we go, happy Thanksgiving to everybody.
True. Yeah.
Have a great holiday.
Thanksgiving.
Have a great Thanksgiving. Wish all of you nothing but the best. And now we can close it out.
Peace.
Adios.